Welcome everybody. This is the second episode of the Brotherhood Coalition podcast. As we talk about issues relating to Black males in Canada, we talk about everything, anything that's going on in the world, but also our particular challenges and issues that we face as Black men, particularly in Canada. My name is Chooks Onwachi, one of the core organizers for the Brotherhood Coalition, and I'll just throw it out to my other team, maybe Travis. Say hello to our guests. With some enthusiasm, maybe. All right, and Ada, you too, man.
Yeah, welcome back, guys. Thanks for tuning in for another episode.
Awesome. So yeah, this is actually going to be a topic actually that we kind of are is actually holding dear to our hearts. Actually, it's a topic that we talked about in the summer, talking about mental health, how Black men kind of deal with that from in terms of toxic masculinity. So we wanted to kind of bring that back into the folds, given there's some unfortunate news. Our Another Black man has succumbed to suicide due to mental health issues. His name is Twitch. He was a producer on the Ellen DeGeneres show. He died last Tuesday. And you know the whole world is definitely mourning the loss, and we here as well extend our condolences to the family and to the kids. We know that he left a beautiful wife and three kids, so we wanted to extend our definite condolences to the family as well. So this obviously comes about as an unfortunate time, and we wanted to definitely have an episode that kind of deals with that topic and bringing back those issues that we're facing, particularly when it pertains to mental health. We're by no means experts in the field, but we're here to provide our opinions and our perspectives on the issue. Something I kind of wanted to throw it out to the rest of the team here, maybe just giving your initial thoughts on what transpired with Twitch, and maybe just leading it off in terms of what you feel and would just in general, just with the whole issue. Maybe I can start with Ada. If you can just maybe give your initial thoughts on what happened with Twitch.
I mean, I think I went online, using websites I was perusing, then came across to TMZ, and then sure enough, see a picture of him and his family pop up. And even before I read the headline, I'm already assuming the worst. And then I continue to scroll down, and sure enough, it describes how he's off himself to suicide. So it was bad. It was a letdown. It was disappointing. It was a bad feeling. At the same time, it's and this is someone that's a total stranger to me, someone that I don't know on any personal level. So to see these things happen again and again, it's just it really paints a grim picture, at least from my perspective, in terms of the world we're living in, the struggles that people are dealing with on a constant basis. So this Fish being an individual that's on TV, figurehead, a household name, to us, at least to myself, it would look like as if everything's under control. Successful, financially
Mm-hmm.
stable, family's in a good place, has a wife and everything, but it drives the message home again that nobody knows what demons everyone is fighting. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the main thing I took away from it, from learning of this, is that it's just you just never know what the individual is battling. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd leave it there just to start.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. I appreciate the comments. Travis, you can go ahead and.
Yeah. So I think I heard the relationship that people have with celebrities like Twitch. They call it parasocial.
Come a little
Um,
closer to the. Yeah, we're losing you a little bit. Yeah.
yeah. Sorry. I think they call it parasocial.
Mm-hmm.
The type of relationship people have with people like Twitch, like celebrities, right? And I do feel like the last few videos that he made actually, before he self-deleted, um, he was speaking about racial issues,
Mm.
and he seemed very frustrated on those videos. And we don't know why he did what he did, but um, sometimes black men have to put on this like facade that we're happy
Yeah.
or that everything's going good.
Yeah.
And we do that, to I felt like he didn't really have a voice.
Mm.
I felt like um, so he always resorted to being positive. He always resorted to love. He always resorted to bringing people together.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like as a black man, he didn't feel like he had a voice, especially in that corporate Hollywood environment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so he kept it to dancing, he kept it to smiling, and just keeping it simple. So, so when it comes to his mental issues, you know, we're all surprised about it
Mm-hmm.
because you know he wasn't close to being able to really uh, be himself. So we don't really know who he is. His wife may know who he is, but we don't. And you know, uh, I don't know what we can take from it, but kind of makes it tells me that we need to be more authentic with how we feel about
Mm-hmm.
things, so that people around us know our mental state.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If someone's being very, it seems like they're being very forward and very, um, being very thoughtful, being very open. Twitch wasn't, we didn't come across as that, and I just wanted to say, rest in peace and goes to his family, but he wasn't very. It didn't seem like he was very able to really express himself, other than through dance and DJ.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Like given the fact that he was so like the notoriety around him, um, um, he was very 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 popular from what I gather. Obviously, given his the work that he's did on So You Think You Can Dance and on Ellen, like he's has a huge following, and yet he was dealing with these demons and internally. Um, and you can see, he seems like he has a very, very great life. You don't really know someone's situation until you, you know, you get to be up and close and personal with them, and it seemed like his friends and family members didn't even know. Like, and I'm just making these assumptions, but
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
um, like it really was all in his head of what he was dealing with, and my immediate thought goes to the family, having to lose their father and their husband, and um, you know, and as you were saying, given the fact that he may have been dealing, he was having, seems like it was some racial issues that he was fighting with, and as we know, we are as black people, particularly black men, if given that that's what we're focusing on, we deal with discrimination, racism, issues within society consistently on a day-to-day basis, and that definitely impacts you and your ability to just be who you are as an individual and moving forward in life, and knowing that you can attain all the stuff that society can bring you, and it impacts you ability to do that. So I think that in turn can obviously have a huge factor on your mental state, and personally with me, I've had issues, particularly with COVID, the isolation sometimes, not being able to see people, not being able to express how I feel, um, not being able to have an outlet sometimes when you're isolated, uh, definitely can impact your mental state. And that's why we always talk, particularly with the Brotherhood Coalition, we always talk about being, and you said it, like being authentic and being transparent about our emotions, but also having trust with each other, to know that we're there to support each other and for us to kind of grow in that space, I think is super important. And we don't have authentic talks about this. We like I was even doing some research on it online, and from a black male perspective, what is really out there? Is there any data on this? Like, is there stats? It's not widely talked about, and I wonder if that's why that's the issue. So providing avenues and providing places where we can have those authentic talks, I think is important. And this is one of those places, right? Um, yeah.
Well, I feel like we, we've made a lot of strides, as far as mental health.
Mm-hmm.
We've made a lot of strides, but it's still happening. I think they say that black men self-delete less than
Mm-hmm.
white males.
Is that what it is?
So
I have to get stats on it, man.
yeah,
We should get some
we
stats
should
on it.
we should have somebody. We should designate somebody who just Googles stuff that we say
Yeah.
kind of in the future. But that's fine. When we edit it, we could always just write a
Mm-hmm.
descriptor about what we're saying if we're wrong. But I think I what I'd like to analyze more is you know, what could have been the factors that made him decide to self delete,
Mm-hmm.
that was the better option. Um, there's a lot of talk about his finances and if he invested in the FTX, but I think it was confirmed. It was confirmed that it wasn't that. His
Mm-hmm.
finances were fine.
Yeah, I would assume that you would
So
assume that it would be. He's seems like he was very popular man. Like he had a lot of things going for himself. So, you know.
yeah, so it wasn't finances or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, and you know, it, evidence is showing that the wife may have had some prior knowledge
Mm-hmm.
because she rushed to the police station.
Mm-hmm.
She ran literally to the police station. If I were to go missing, well, it's not the same scenario because when you're living with a person, it's different. But to assume right away for it to be such a red flag,
Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, that's a red flag basically. So there, we might learn that there was prior mental health issues, but you know, when I saw that video of him talking about racial issues,
Mm-hmm.
it was your typical type of video where he's just talking about police brutality,
Yeah.
but he was talking about the pushback he was getting, how frustrated he was that he was getting pushback,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I was thinking that if you have more than 5 viewers or 5 commentaries, they're going to be like polar opposite views. You'll
Mm-hmm.
get people who agree with you, and you'll get people who disagree with you. They're not going to agree with you just because it's police brutality
Mm-hmm.
or it's whatever topic it is. You'll probably get a 50-50 split on people who agree with you or disagree with and that was like it was one of the first times that he even became political because he is very non-political. That's why
Mm-hmm.
he's so popular,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the time now he becomes political, he's not even becoming political. He's black,
Yeah.
so he's just talking about his experience. And for him to get pushed back, that could have triggered a mental episode.
Yeah.
So black men have to be careful. Um, no one owes you. No one owes you. Society doesn't owe you understanding.
Hmm.
You know, I'm sure there was people back in the 1800s who were maybe they were slaves or something, and they felt like they were human beings and they deserved rights, but they weren't getting it,
Hmm.
right? So you know, yeah, you just have to be careful that to seek validation from society and say, validate my pain or
Hmm.
validate my victimhood because as a black man I've been X, Y, and Z. You're not going to get that validation, and you're going to be sadly mistaken if you think society is going to cheer you on,
Yeah, and I think
right? Especially right. So
just to jump in right there, I think that's a good we make a good point. And I think validation for me is I don't think I need society to validate me. I think I just need my community to validate what I'm saying. Right? Like the community that's surrounding me, the people that I love, the people that I cherish, the people that I trust. And it's like, and I'm just speaking on my behalf. Like if I felt that it was safe space for me to express how I feel, then as a black man, sometimes I'll just do it. Um, and but at sometimes, when mental health issues arise, you can't make who's just like you don't know, right? Like you that becomes like an outlier because that impacts your decision making, right? So if you're dealing with that on a consistent basis, then you can't make that determination. Because I like to say that I'm not dealing with it, and I have no idea how people, when they're going through this, like what their state of mind is. But for me, if I'm dealing with something internally, I like to go to people that I trust, people that I know that can help me and advise on things. Um, and as a black man, that's even more important because we're targeted. I feel like society targets us. So we need a place of community to kind of be able to divulge information and to get feedback on. And sometimes it's important to even some whether like the person is old or young. I like to be able to get different perspectives, even a female's perspective on what I'm dealing with. My wife, for example, I can go to her, you know what I mean, and get that like if am I seeing it right? Is it impacting me the way it should impact me? Um, and I've learned over time that if I don't let it out, it just festers and it gets worse and becomes worse and worse and worse. So I think it's just providing that opportunity, and I just want to be validated by my community. If my community validates the situation, then I'm good. But that's just speaking from my behalf, right? The person that haven't been dealing with what he's been dealing with, and I can't really put a word to it. But I don't know. I just wanted to throw it to Ada and see what he thought.
Yeah, I think that might be, I mean, like we said, we don't know for sure, but that might be where the deficit is in his life, the sense of community. Like,
Mm,
I find a lot of times entertainers, public figures turn to online to, bounce their ideas or receive validation
mm,
or confirmation for an opinion they have, or looking for people to support their train of thought, or be it whatever it might be. But in doing so, there's a flaw because now you're relying on complete strangers that you have no idea who they are
mm,
to give you validation if that's what it's looking for. I'm not saying this is what led Twitch to, take himself out, but is it? Is that what he was missing in his life? A sense of
mm,
community, people
mm,
that looked like him, that were close to him, that he could bounce ideas
mm,
off of, or is it that there just wasn't anyone, and like I believe Travis mentioned, he was receiving back or pushback with some of the ideas he was putting forward. or things he was bringing to light or whatnot. So are these part of the factors that led to his demise? We don't know for sure, but I highly think it might be a contributing piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it is, it definitely could be, it's not a safe space, as you were saying. It's not safe when you're in your celebrity. Things that you could post out there, like, I think about LeBron James and like his tweets, man, like
Yeah.
his tweets generate so much stir, like, cause he has a huge, I think he's one of the highest Twitter followers, I think, on Twitter right now. So imagine what he puts out, and the impact it has on certain individuals. And so knowing this, you are consistently having to check yourself about what you're putting out there and what you're saying, and having that weight put on you sometimes can be debilitating. You know what I mean? And even so, when you're even more scrutinized as the fact that you are a black man saying it, um, you know, take for instance the whole "shut up and dribble" situation, where you know, he was just speaking about the president, and what he was doing, right? And then next, he's like, that comment comes, like, it's crazy, right? To know that we have to be able to be dealing with that kind of backlash from society. But I'm pretty sure, like, if his inner circle is cool with it, I think he's cool with it. You know what I mean? As long as the people that I'm close to hear me and see me and are there for me, I'm good. But I can't say that the same thing for everybody else, because like everybody else may not have that safe space to be able to
Yeah,
talk.
and you know what? It kind of sounds like, a lot of these people we're talking about, and it also affects regular people where they live online.
Mm-hmm.
And I spoke about parasocial or whatever that was, but basically it's this relationship you have with this online character.
Mm-hmm.
Like you watch them every day and they're being interviewed, and you kind of cheer on their persona online, but you never met them in person. But you care about them as much as somebody in your physical life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And with someone like DJ Twitch, it could be, it could be the reverse, that he has this relationship with this online space, and it's it could be, not to you know kind of try to figure out what it was. I'm not trying to be that
Yeah, not to like.
that insensitive,
Yeah, yeah,
but just more of the mental aspect,
yeah.
because I feel like we could all relate.
Absolutely.
Is that DJ Twitch, he actually had a great relationship with his family.
Mm-hmm.
He texted his dad a couple days ago, like, "I love you," and
Mm-hmm.
"I love you, dad," and stuff like that. So he had a relationship with. He was grounded. So a lot of the reasons why people are so curious to understand what happened is because he had all those support systems. He had a group of actors or a group
Mm-hmm.
of Hollywood black men around him
Mm-hmm.
that he can talk to. And he had his family that he could talk to, and then he had his real family
Mm-hmm.
and his kids.
Mm-hmm.
So
So why did you do it, kind of thing? Like, why?
yeah, so
Yeah.
exactly. So he's been on in this online space, and so he can dance. So 10 to 15 years. He has this brand of being positive,
Mm-hmm.
and starts to realize that the world is like Twitter. It's just
Mm-hmm.
kind of bitter, especially towards
The
people that
world
look
is
like
like
him.
Twitter. It's kind of bitter.
The world is kind of bitter. You know what
The
I
word
mean?
is like
He
Twitter. It's
could
kind
have
of
he
bitter.
could have had a real life realization. He could have really had a realization that,
Yeah.
he's a positive force,
Mm-hmm.
and he like his online, he has no safe space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and his home wasn't good enough, and his family life wasn't good enough because he has this thriving online space that
Yeah.
kind of. So it could be very actual. It could be something that we can't relate to because
Mm-hmm.
we're not a celebrity. We're black men, but we're not a celebrity, so we may not be able to relate to him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that we do have this Instagram culture where
Mm-hmm.
we may not feel good enough as black men.
Mm-hmm.
We're successful enough.
Like comparing
I'm
ourselves to
sorry.
other black men that are doing things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or even, and sometimes it doesn't even have to be your fellow black man who lives across the street. It could be like the rappers in your city,
Yeah. Yeah.
or celebrity people.
Comparison
So
kills, man. It really does, man.
yeah, exactly. So it could be these things. Also, I was saying that this happened around Christmas,
Yeah.
and Christmas brings up a lot of skeletons in the closet.
Yeah.
Right? You start realizing what's missing.
Yeah.
So uh, there's a lot to unpack, but it just goes to show you. One thing when it comes to self-deletion, um, life has a way to. I find that if you live life long enough, life will be taken away from you anyway,
Mm-hmm.
eventually. You know what I mean? So, um, like for instance, you might get a God forbid a disease or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and the choice will be taken from you,
Yeah.
and it'll be about how long do you have left,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So from that point of view, it's not about self-deletion anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So if so, I try, if you're having trouble, if you see it from that perspective, it's like you don't need to rush, do anything drastic. Life will come for you.
Mm-hmm.
Just enjoy it. Life will come for you. And so we're lucky. Every day that you're healthy, you're actually like lucky.
Mm-hmm.
That's like one day. That's like one day
Absolutely.
you can count on the agenda. You
Absolutely.
don't get a lot of those
I'm
days,
telling you.
right? So just use that day because it's gonna run out because we have all these diseases and all sorts of stuff coming
Mm.
for us. So you know,
Yeah. No.
just
I.
don't rush into anything. Eat a chocolate bar.
I agree, and then like I kind of wanted to just talk about, you know, like what are some solutions that we can kind of pinpoint, you know, um, and if we're speaking to, let's say we're speaking to one of our members that is dealing with, um, mental health, thinking about suicidal thoughts, knowing that we are not by any means experts in the field. And we always, like I said, recommend them seeking professional help. But as a brother, what can we do to kind of help that person along? Um, and like I said, it's a very general question. Wanted to know your thoughts on that in terms of some solutions, because we're all about solution driven. We're a solution driven organization and body, so we don't always want to focus on the challenges and issues, but also talk about how we can move and find ways of being able to find those solutions. So, what's your thought process on that, guys? And then anyone, just like I said.
Yeah, well, I would say that you need to identify the issue first. So you need to self-analyze and realize that you do have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once you understand that you do have a problem, then seek out the help that you need. Money country numbers are always available at 24/7. Um, but at the same time, you know, you need to understand. I think people need to understand that everybody battles self-deletion thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
To an extent, certain people it's very peripheral, and to some others it kind of runs in and out, but it's very normal
Mm-hmm.
because just like questioning if God exists, it's normal,
Mm-hmm.
So and there's certain things that happens in life that triggers people, and even that is normal, and I feel like it helps me to know that, like, oh, like I'm not the only person going through this.
Yeah,
Other
absolutely.
people are going through this too. So you know, I think that's what you know, I would say, and the other thing too is, maximize yourself. A lot of people feel bad. I didn't win the genetic lottery, and it kind of that's a lot of the reasons why people self delete is because they're not happy with their lot in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you work out and eat healthy and be the best person you can be, you won't get everything that you want, but I think you'll get happiness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, uh, there's somebody who's a 8.5 out of 10 who thinks they're ugly, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the same issue
Mm-hmm.
you're having.
Yeah.
So because end of the day, it's all mental,
Yeah.
right? It's not something symmetrical, so it automatically means I have good self-esteem. It doesn't go like that.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, so that's it. And that's basically what I would say.
Nice. Otto, what do you think?
In terms of it, like like we pointed out, there's no one clear solution. There's definitely steps we can take. Like Travis mentioned, talking to someone. And even then, it starts from that person themselves. They have to want, or at least believe that they can get better. So they have to take that first step to, take that initiative to either go talk to someone or learn about what other people are going through in life, or just expanding their horizon. Because from what I know, with I shouldn't say depression, but in a mind state like that, when you begin to become negative or have negative thoughts, your world starts to shrink
Mm-hmm.
and shrink, and it just centers around yourself and your negative thoughts, your negative self worth, and it just becomes a vicious cycle. So I think the solution depends on the person has to take the first step, absolutely, and then the compounding factor about that is that they have to believe and have to be willing and wanting to get better. Aside from that, if they don't have that initial drive within themselves, then we can send them to, you can urge them to go to all sorts of rehab facilities, take this med, talk to
Mm-hmm.
whoever. It's just not going to happen. So it definitely comes from within. I don't mean to say all that is to say that I don't believe there's a solution, because these solutions have been around since the start of time. Yet again, people still, there will be those unfortunate few humans of us that will take our own lives and exit the game of life, unfortunately. But it's just steps we can take, or at least encourage those that are going through it to take.
Yeah,
Oh, I
no.
just wanted to add.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to add that a lot of neurodivergent people, or a lot of people in general that try to self delete, they think they figured out that this is a simulation, or they think they figured out that, you know, it's a kind of a shortcut. They can kind of not be accountable for what is going to happen in the future
Mm.
by leaving. But you know, it's that's kind of short-sighted,
Mm.
you know, because you were gonna leave anyways. You know, just play it out, and then when you leave, you know, you left 30 years early.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of all you've done, and you've kind of hurt people in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some people have so much pain they can't bear it,
Yeah,
right?
That's what I was gonna
And
say.
that's what
Maybe like the sticking around and playing it out is too
too
it's too
unbearable.
bitter, it's too unbearable. That
it's too much. But they really have,
uh,
like, sometimes instead of thinking it through, you have an exit, like you have an exit and you take it, and it's like, you know, that's, you know, you should just play it out, unless it's physical pain. That you know, we have a law in Canada where, if you're going through physical pain, you can lawfully self-delete yourself with a doctor
Mm-hmm.
because you're going too much physical pain,
yeah.
right? So that makes sense, but the mental pain
Mm-hmm.
that some of these people are going through, I think that can be worked through.
Mm-hmm.
There's no need. There's no real need to for the early exit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really gain any. It's repairable, right? It's repairable if it's mental pain, unless it's an extraordinary case where there's neural damage of some sort. So, but a lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people say, "Oh my God, I think this is a simulation," because of something. Maybe they're autistic or something like that. They don't feel pain the way other people feel pain, or whatever the case may be, and they think, "Oh my God, I think I found a shortcut, so I don't have to be accountable. I don't have to be responsible for this life that, you know." Well, a lot of people have this attitude where it's like, I didn't ask to be here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, you shouldn't have that attitude. I didn't ask to be here. No, that's not how things work. Life is a very, you know, life is a very divine thing, you know, and you know, there's purpose to life, and you know, people feel like something. It's like a trend. It's like, I feel like it's a cancer in the internet or in social media, that there's a strand of thinking that, you know, people co-sign,
Mm-hmm.
and then it becomes kind of in our, you know, it's kind of in our subconscious, you
Mm-hmm.
know, where we're like, yeah, I didn't ask to be here. That's not a good, you know, that's not a good type of psychology to have.
Mm-hmm.
So people need to kind of to really have, you know, really have good influences and really understand their place in life, and they wouldn't, you know, those shortcuts, they wouldn't do as much.
Yeah, no, you know, I hear all your comments, and you know, like, for sure, like, you know, definitely, there's a lot to take from the conversation, and I think, you know, for me, um, you know, given the fact I know, like, I think it's already been said that the first thing is to kind of recognize that you have an issue, but I feel, and then pushing them to seek professional help. But sometimes, you know, and what kind of gets me sometimes is that usually, um, that is an issue in itself because there is a financial barrier, right? Some people don't have the financial capacity to be able to say, I'm going to be able to spend X amount of dollars on a psychotherapist, or, you know, in that space, and why I have bills to pay. Why am I going to do it? Like, I got real bills to pay. Why am I going to even spend money on myself? You know what I mean? Like, in my mental state, right? That could be a challenge to some people, right? Like, even with, or, you know, why do I need to sit down and even talk about my issues with a person that I don't really know? um, you know, like, what are they going to be able to help me? And quite frankly, from my own experience, I found, you know, just in terms of my day-to-day mindset, I had to go seek just like a family therapist in terms of being able to work out certain issues that I'm having, just within day to day the structure of my household, right? With how I parent, how I, my workload, and just in terms of stress, right? Like those are just things I needed to be able to help out. I had the
Yeah.
financial means to be
You
able
know
to do
what?
that, you know, like I
Well,
had,
you know what?
yeah.
Every job I've had,
Mm-hmm.
they've had a EAP program,
EAP, but
employment.
is it culturally sensitive? Is it culturally sensitive?
Yeah, but
Because
you know what? Well, one
like,
thing
are
I
they gonna
wanted,
see my issues as a black man? Like, I'm talking to a white lady or I'm talking to a white man. Like, are they gonna see like how I internalize my pain as a black man in society? Right?
no,
That's it's gonna be
but
hard.
yeah, but you know what?
Mm,
I feel like you don't even need that at first,
mm,
right? So I think if every black man, I've done it because I wanted to go on short-term disability one time,
mm,
and I had to speak to someone. But I find that when I did speak to someone on that EAP program, which is free,
yeah. Is it
right?
free for your job?
Free through your job,
Okay.
and it's usually any job you have has this free program. And when I spoke to the person who may have been black, because it's just a person on the other line. They're probably working wherever.
Mm-hmm.
But it felt good to speak to
Yeah,
somebody,
absolutely.
a third party like that. It was good. It felt good to speak to somebody about what I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
And I think not every black, if everybody, but if black men, you know, would use that, because there's a stigma, but no one needs to know, because there's a phone call, there's a phone number that they give you when you start the job.
Mm-hmm.
Then you just call that number, or you go on Google and you Google EAP program or whatever, and you call that number, and you can get in contact with somebody over the phone, and it's free. So um, yeah, so I think men should do that. I
And
think black men
you
should
need to
do that.
prioritize it. I think, right? You need to prioritize it as something that's important. That regardless of if it's free or financial, like you have to pay, like it's important, right? And that's what I was kind of getting at, right? Like you need to, regardless of the barriers or challenges you're facing mentally, but also monetarily. And if you still need to be able to seek out that help and recognize that it's a need. And then also, as you were saying, like like you know reaching out and making that first move, right? Calling someone and seeking that help. But also the community aspect. I think it's important to kind of be in community with people, and not just like family, friends, but people that you aspire to be like, that maybe people that aspire to be like you, maybe doing mentorship of some sort, doing things that are uncharacteristic of your, you know, who you are as an individual. Trying to help and lift other people might even lift you up in your sense, right? It might be impactful to see other people succeed, and therefore then knowing you're the cause of that, and then who knows that can have an impact on you and your mental state, right? But I'm just there's so much to do, like as Ada was saying. I think Ada or Travis, you mentioned about eating well, staying healthy, getting good amount of sleep, lack of decreasing
Yeah,
stress.
you know,
You know what I mean? Like these are things
yeah,
that we should definitely consider, right?
yeah.
You know.
As men, um, sometimes we feel like we're not successful, but
Hmm.
Jordan Peterson said, you have to start by making up your bed,
Yeah.
and just and working out gives you builds endorphins,
Yeah.
which makes you feel happy. Honestly, it's
Eating
the
well.
shortcut. People.
Yeah.
Something that's important is,
Hmm.
people look at me or people in our group, and they think, wow, those are the selected guys that has social status and whatnot, right? but we it starts with the little habits.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us were short, some of us was really skinny, some of us didn't have money or still don't have money, but
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. We all had to kind of work on ourselves, and sometimes somebody can see somebody and say, wow, I'm depressed because they seem to have a lot and I don't. And not knowing that it took a lot of discipline, it took a lot of hard work, it took a lot of crying and tears, and maybe they tore an ACL and they had to have 2 years of rehab. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know what they've been through to get to where they are, but some people, and sometimes in social media, and I'm trying to fight this myself. Like in social media, I'll post all my accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see all the positive on social media, but
Right.
I won't show you all the
Then that's
struggle,
exactly.
right? So
Exactly.
you're looking at me and you're like, what the hell? He
I
has a car, a house, and a good girl. But really, it's like my close friends,
Yeah.
they know, like,
They
wow,
know, they
Travis is,
know, yeah.
struggling in this
Yeah.
department, he's
Yeah.
struggling in that department.
Yeah. It's important.
So,
Yeah, it's important, man.
so and I've really thought about going online and actually showcasing people that know I struggle, I grind,
Mm-hmm.
I struggle,
Like changing the
I give up
dynamic,
sometimes and
changing the
I don't.
perception. Yeah, yeah. Like using
I've seen a
social.
friend on
You,
shoots. I saw a high school friend on the street,
yeah.
and he didn't want to tell me that he was struggling
Yeah.
because he thinks he knows that I have a car or something,
Yeah. 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 It's
and I'm
crazy.
looking at him like,
It's crazy, bro. Yeah, I know it's crazy.
I'm rubbing my pockets too, dog.
Everyone has
So,
their things. Everyone has their things, and it's that comparison thing. And I think we talked about it before, like comparing yourself to another
mhm.
individual, another man, right? Like comparing to what they have and looking at what they have and what they've been, what they've been saying on social media or what they've been putting out there, but not really looking beyond that and
Not
seeing
really
what they're
looking beyond,
actually
and
dealing with. Yeah,
it's a dangerous game. So
yeah.
so I'm actually in the midst of, there's two things I want to do, and I can't do it myself, but the one thing is, is kind of showcase how easy it is to kind of make people believe you're more successful than you
Mhm.
are, and kind of
Mhm.
show that, I'm struggling like everyone else. But also, people are so people find it easy to, like, bash other people online.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, let's say we're talking about a celebrity, people are very quick to, like, oh, that dude ain't he that
Mhm. Mhm.
he's not good.
That's
He
social media, man.
cheated. He's
Yeah.
a like, these are real people.
Yeah.
But we have a culture where, we'll tear somebody down and cancel them and tear them down, and their family, maybe the little
Yeah.
kids, will tear them down too. We don't care.
Yeah.
They don't. We're average people and they're celebrities, or
Yeah.
they might not even be a celebrity, right? It might be just somebody in the news, but
Mhm.
we'll tear them down. So yeah. So those are two things that I feel like I want to contribute to change.
No, and I think it's an ongoing conversation that we'll definitely be having. But I thought that it was really good that we can bring it to light through this episode, and I really wanted to definitely let people know that the most important thing is to definitely speak to a professional if you're experiencing mental health or suicidal thoughts. In Canada we have the biggest Talk Suicide Canada on Twitter to put the number out there. It's 1-833-456-4566. 1-833-456-4566. It's Talk Suicide Canada. So we do have that toll-free number. They're free 24/7, 365, 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. They're available. So sorry, 4 p.m. to 12 p.m. For text. So um, definitely reach out to and see if you need that help. Definitely. And then obviously, like I was saying, community is important. So we're here, particularly for Black men, to kind of build that community, build that trust, build that network, ensure that we're supporting each other and growing each other in all aspects. So definitely reach out to us if you wanted to be a part of this growing community, the Brotherhood Coalition. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We'll definitely put our socials up. Make sure that you can get in contact with us. Our email is info@bhcottawa.com or .ca. .com. And yeah, definitely like send us an email if you need to reach out and be part of this growing community. So thank you. It's .com, right? .com. But yeah, definitely this is our second episode. We'll be back for definitely a lot more topics that are particular to the Black man. So we're just signing off right now, unless Travis, you wanted to say goodbye to our peoples. All right, we're signing off. Thanks everybody. Take care.